Good morning and welcome to another beautiful day. Thank God it's Friday. Today is the 5th day of September 2025 and you are watching Signature Morning on Signature TV. Lillian, how are you doing today?
I'm very well. I love your makeup. Good morning.
Oh, thank you. I did it by myself, by the way.
What? You did?
Yes, I did.
Okay, it's lovely.
How are you today, Lillian?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. I'm excited. It's Friday. You know I'm always excited for the weekend.
I think today is my favorite day.
Favorite day of the week.
Yeah.
All right, welcome. And I am Uchenna Chimdi Olwoha.
I am Lillian Mali.
Coming up next is our newspaper headlines and review. Welcome back, and now we'll be starting with the Punch newspaper. Now looking at the headlines, we have FG seeks fresh $1.75 billion World Bank loan.
And Afenifere Northern leaders demand state police amid delays. FG demands delay, says security reforms undergoing due process framework with state. Afenifere, MBF, PANDEF insist state policing overdue. Northern leaders press for action.
New parties seeking INEC registration surged to 171 on page 3, and Jonathan blames betrayal for 2015 election loss on page 12.
Train derailment sparks NRC reorganization, that's on page 16, and panic as 5 bodies found along Lagos riverbank.
Osun Algon challenges CBN over local government account signatories. And CBT, WAEC mandates 250 computers, CCTV for schools.
And on Daily Trust newspaper, ex-soldiers resume protest over unpaid entitlement, and Tinubu departs for Europe on 10-day vacation.
As FG issues fresh flood alerts, Taraba communities submerged. And we have police invite El Rufai, ADC leaders over alleged criminal conspiracy.
And on tax law, Nigerians to pay additional 45 naira per litre of petrol, and couples debt, how we operate, surviving tout says.
Now on the Nigerian Tribune, most Nigerian politicians not dependable, says Jonathan. Says politics in Nigeria is about betrayals. They will tell you something this minute. In the next 1 hour, say another, he adds. You can find that on page 4.
Non-oil revenue target. Obi tackles Tinubu. Wants president to suspend new tax regime. Says leadership is about reducing burden. That's on page 5.
1,844 killed in southeast Nigeria between January 2021 and June 2023 from Amnesty International.
And Osun Algon raises alarm over alleged plot to divert local government funds. Wants CBN governor to investigate how the bank opened LG accounts with APC members as signatories instead of civil servants. Their submission lacks merit, should be ignored, says Osun APC.
Showdown looms between Aidetiwa LG bosses on FAC funds on page 5. And we have Lagos government warns over looming environmental collapse of lagoon. Commissioner condemns illegal dredging on page 13.
And on the Guardian newspaper, how bias for sports entertainment reinforces coolness scam myth. And Tinubu embarks on the 10-day working vacation in Europe.
80 million Nigerian youths jobless. 1,500 schools shut down in 2 years, says a report. You can find that on the news page 3. And on the news page 7, WHO AU tasked Nigeria on 200 declaration, 20% public health spending.
ADC Audu Obi for Tinubu's fiscal triumphs as cruelty over compassion. And a police summoned El Rufai ADC leaders for alleged conspiracy.
Retired soldiers protest lack merit, DHQ insists. And 70% of telecom downtime linked to energy issues on the business page 18.
And over to Daily Times newspaper, Daily Independent newspaper. Opposition queries Tinubu's admin revenue growth claims, questions why FG is still borrowing if it met revenue targets, says 5% petrol tax cruel will compound misery of Nigerians. Obi criticizes FG over protesting ex-soldiers, retired public servants.
Police summon El Rufai, top ADC chieftains. 8 million Nigerian youths unemployed, 1,500 schools shut in 2 years, says report.
Nigeria's politics full of betrayals, lies, says Jonathan, and INEC receives 171 letters of intent for registration of parties.
IGP names CSP Benjamin Hundeyin as new force PRO.
FGI's 10 billion naira SCF of gas production by 2030.
Now on the Blueprint newspaper, FG to states and local governments. Increase your health budgets, ensure full releases. Core responsibilities lie with subnationals. Basic Healthcare Fund, NHIA, others mere support. Current funding can't meet needs of 220 million Nigerians, says Bagudu.
FG has not increased prices of CNG, PCNGI clarifies. New Ebola outbreak in DR Congo kills 15.
All right, now the Daily Times newspaper. On the headlines, we have FG to commence payment of debt owed local contractors, says the Deputy Speaker on page 9.
I witnessed a lot of betrayals during 2015 elections, Jonathan says.
Both mishap, Labour Party demands robust legislation, stricter regulation of waterways.
Nigeria seeks economic diplomacy agenda to empower women and youth. That's on page 11.
Troops arrest over 62 terrorists in 42 towns, villages in August, says DHQ.
And on Vanguard newspaper, opposition mounts against FG's 5% tax on petrol and diesel. Stakeholders push against Tinubu's 5% fuel tax. We will mobilize Nigerians against it, Jaff Vels. Why Tinubu's 5% fuel tax should wait, Peter Obi says, and 5% petrol tax, a cruel burden on struggling Nigerians, says ADC.
FG makes tax identification mandatory for banking, allied services on page 19. And Tinubu's development agenda driven by national interest, not politics, says Minister on page 9.
2027, resurrecting zoning is regressive, says Olawekbo Hashim support groups.
Osun LG crisis, Algon, APC disagree over signatories to accounts with CBN.
And Tinubu's development agenda driven by national interest, not politics, says Minister.
All right, and that's the much we can take on our newspaper headlines this morning. And it's time for our review with Chris Maduka this morning. Good morning, Chris.
Good morning, Rachel. Good morning, Lillian.
Good morning, Mr. Chris.
Yeah, thank you, and welcome to another day of newspaper review on Signature TV. Let's start from the top.
Yes, from the Punch newspaper.
From the Punchy Punch.
Afenifere, Northern leaders demand state police amid delays.
A lot of people are joining what I've been preaching, sitting on this desk for over 16 months. And I think, like, there's this proverb that said, when the snake that beat Mukoye, if you strike Mukafa with his tail, they will think otherwise. When some of us have seen the need for state police and we are supporting it, especially when majority of Nigerians are calling for it. Some people who are politicians in power felt that, some people, especially the state governors, will use state police to their own advantage. Well, they have a point there, but we now have a choice at this level of insecurity in Nigeria to determine Do we want to throw away the bath water with the baby, or do we save the baby and throw away the bath water? Because we have a choice. If we look at the number of Nigerians who have died over the last 20 years in insecurity, banditry, and terrorist-related activities, it becomes obvious that even if we have the fear that somebody might use the state police to their own advantage, they will use it to start killing as much as the bandits and terrorists have killed. And at that point anyway, if the governors begin to turn state police into banditry and terrorism, then Nigerians will sit back and find a way of survival. After all, banditry and terrorism came to Nigeria. That was the first time we heard that volunteers, JTFs, and even vigilante groups and communities can rise up and defend themselves. And even some states have made a vigilante into a very strong establishment of their state government structure. You ask me, I keep quoting Amotekun as a good example that should be replicated in the 36 states of Nigeria. And if some people have tried to replicate and they've not gotten it, we have always said, if you are a learner, a blacksmith who is an apprentice smith, and you want to make a metal gong, and you don't know how to start, look at the tail of a kite. Because if some states don't know what to do, they can replicate states where these state organized vigilante services has worked. I keep giving the example of Amotekun. And if you ask me, Amotekun is just the local name because that is state police. And the commander, the IGP of the state, what I call it, the IGP or whatever of that Amotekun, is the state governors of the southwest Nigeria, and they know how to handle them, how to get the weapons, how to organize them to do their job, how to provide them logistics. So I joined Afenifere, the northern leaders, to demand for state police. Now, if Afenifere and the northern leaders are asking for state police, it means we have gotten almost 80% to it. Because if you look at the northern leaders and the population, the position, the portion of the north, when you're looking at the map of Nigeria, is joining with Afenifere, which covers the southwest. What is left? We now have majority. And if it's a Nigerian democracy, we say 2/3 of the majority. FG is seeking fresh 1.75 billion World Bank loan. I told you when we were here, we read in the newspaper headlines that the federal government said we have reached revenue target, we are consolidated, we do not borrow from local bank. And I keep shouting, I say it's obvious. Now look at it. It didn't last up to 48 hours. Look at what is appearing. So I'm being vindicated. Nobody will think I am just here talking and shouting. I said, has federal government stopped borrowing? If you have reached your revenue target, what are you telling us? It means you cannot borrow. No bank, commercial bank in Nigeria can provide this loan. So there's only reaction. So federal government is right. And that will tell you the controversy and the talking from both sides of the mouth to whoever, because federal government is the faceless. The only person we know when we talk about federal government of Nigeria is talking about the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Whenever you see FG says this, they carry picture of one man and put. This is not, I don't understand. You're studying confusions. Can somebody explain to Nigeria what these things are? Nigeria is here asking for 1.75 billion. Whatever you are asking for, it's relative to your exchange rate to dollar. If $1 exchange as at this morning at about 1.75, 1,750 naira, times it with 1.75 billion as at today, assuming this loan they are seeking for materializes today, it could materialize next week, and naira has never appreciated. It keeps depreciating, meaning that at the point this loan will, it might be 2,000 naira to $1. At whatever rate they are going to give you. If anybody is going to part with this money, believe me, it's not a tea party, because they will get pound of flesh. Pound of flesh. God will help Nigeria.
Amen.
New party seeking INEC registration has gotten up to 171. Now that will tell you confusion. This is all, orchestrated. Everybody wake up, seek up, and go and put application so that INEC will look busy. They will not want to register any party. And when you get some surplus of registration, they tell you they're working on it, delays that. Why not? Anyway, let them register all of them. The ones that cannot survive, they will go into coalition. And the constitution says, once they meet the conditions, what is holding? How long will it take to know whether they met conditions? Are there people from another country seeking to be? It will tell you confusion. Somebody is orchestrating this to make sure we don't even have new parties registered. When it was 111, I'm not saying they should. They go through it. Let them register the one who have. But the margin number of them, since they started, it wasn't today that people started applying for this. Since they started, how many has INEC registered? That will tell you something is wrong. INEC, they say, as a chicken, use his mouth to put in a jollof rice plate. Somebody finished cooking jollof rice plate. The chicken decide when they are to peck. And the person is shouting and they want to get the broom to kill the chicken. The chicken put the two legs and scatter the rice. That's what INEC is doing with themselves. They say, INEC, what you did in Nigeria in 2025, the shit you left has not finished smelling. And they came now to tie them up with 171. These are the figures they are giving us. Now, sieve it out quickly. INEC has the power to know which party that qualified to be registered. And then tell us whether you have a ceiling to the number. Don't keep talking. If you have gotten to a limit, tell Nigerians INEC can no longer. There's an embargo. Nigeria did embargo to establishment of universities, embargo of establishing tertiary institutions. Why are they doing this? They tell you,
now Jonathan says he's blaming betrayal for 2015 election loss.
He's not saying different
he
things.
Was betrayed.
What I've been saying here. He said many, I've noted this somewhere, many Nigerian politicians, and I said most. That's qualification. Jonathan is saying many. I am saying most.
Actually.
Oh, you say most.
Yeah.
And I now say majority. I just want to qualify my thought that you'll be higher than whatever Jonathan is saying. Jonathan is trying to sound political. He is also a politician.
Yeah.
And I don't know how reliable and dependable he himself is. He is a politician. So what we are talking about politicians in Nigeria applies to Jonathan. He said, who is making the statement? They that call themselves politicians in Nigeria are not just independable, they are insensitive and wicked. They are selfish. When you say they are greedy, and that is what the whole thing they think about Nigerian politicking is all about, being selfish. Me alone. They don't think about any, even the voters are not counted in their scheme of things. And that's about it. So, train derailment. He's talking about NRC, Nigerian Railway Corporation is now, these are the points they are now thinking about reorganization. Things must happen in Nigeria before they reorganize. They never are proactive. They can't see it happen. Imagine the number of people on this train, and the people they told us that win them, they sounded politically correct. They didn't want to tell us the whole issue. Now, when train, when they're singing, the children are singing, London Bridge is falling down. When train begin to derail in Nigeria, watch it. And this is the time they find it. Since they start talking about Nigeria Railway Corporation, they cannot organize. Now, that Abuja, Kaduna bound train, the only train service you can think was Nigeria derailed. That's when they start reorganization. Good luck, NLC. Reorganize. So panic asphalt bodies found along the Lagos water. Now in Nigeria, people from another planet, then when they die, water will carry them and them to Nigeria. Water. So this is a bad name for Nigeria. It's not Nigeria, it's not Lagos. But I will tell you, Nigeria, how the life of Nigerians has become useless.
This is how these 5 people, who essentially are Nigerians, before they died, they are just talking like me, and then that's how, and they've forgotten. I will tell you, nothing will come out of it. It's just a few things that the last we have here. So, life of Nigerians and politicians are in Abuja. Even in that Lagos, that we think that is the capital of Nigeria before now, should be have some element with the amount of money that circulates in Lagos and the amount of money Lagos state government takes. And whatever money that is moving around Lagos, that there should be some element of. That's what the life of Nigeria in Lagos. It's like going to New York and this kind of thing happen. You know, it tells you what America is. So that tell you what life in Nigeria is. And then my friends in WAEC are mandating. WAEC has taken over the Ministry of Education, mandated that every Nigerian school must provide 250 computers
And CCTV.
and CCTV.
Yes.
While they sit in their Yaba office, collecting money from Nigerian students since I know WAEC. The WAEC is over 50 years or 60 years in Nigeria. They've been collecting and collecting. And they want to commit CBT. They don't want to get committed. They want you provide computer, they will come, collect the money from students. Imagine the number of Nigerian secondary students that sit for WAEC. WAEC at this level cannot provide even in bits to support schools to go. They will sit there, declare CBT, I've signed it, and I'll keep signing it. WAEC is overrated. If Nigeria do not want to look into what WAEC want to do, WAEC has taken over Ministry of Education job and now sit there. After collecting our money, he will tell you go and buy a computer. They keep the one they've collected. Who does WAEC account to? The money they collect from Nigeria and organizing all the professional exams, that the exams are conducted, who did they give it to? They just amassing it. WAEC owns hotels in Lagos. WAEC runs hotels. WAEC has money into some bigger businesses. They use the money they get from Nigerian educational system and other schools to go and get CBT. What in Mokoye no go see forget, or even Mohammed no go see forget. This is the kind of thing you see in Nigeria, and nobody is talking. So some schools that are found in villages where they are managing to survive, some of them don't have roof. Politicians will come and water them and fire them and go again for another 4 years. They will start looking for. So it means if you don't have this computer, you out of CBT. Yeah. And that's what I was telling them. Let them get to the schools that have computer, organize CBT. Let them organize the analog exam to the people who cannot afford it. Until we grow to all have computers. Until they do that, I will never stop telling them that it is insensitive and wicked for WAEC to be doing this. And nobody is talking about. People who we talk about, most of their children are not in Nigeria. And to talk about it, they themselves can provide 1 billion computers to everywhere, but they can't.
All right, Chris, just because of time, we are quickly running out of time. This Amnesty International, they have once again brought out another, 1,844 killed in southeast Nigeria between January 2021 and June 2023. We had a report like this a while ago on the news.
It's the same report. Yes. It's the same report, and nobody has refuted it. Amnesty International is an organization that monitors these things, and they have a way of working. And nobody in Nigeria has not fought. The only thing you find is somebody say they want to, but they won't fall to the, because what you find about what in-depth research and documentation and data is what Amnesty International over the years have worked with. Nigeria have never succeeded in faulting Amnesty International. They've actually threatened them several times and made their life so difficult working in Nigeria over time, but it has not stopped them from, exposing whenever the air called Nigeria blow, the chicken yash will be open. Now, what Nigeria do not know is that Nigeria is being watched. Nigeria is being watched by so many organizations, and even Nigeria, they open their ways for them to come in the name of international aid, a bilateral agreement. We are donating to cure malaria. They do this, and they call all of them here. They have access to all critical information about Nigeria, and Nigeria should have at least begin to know that Nigeria is not alone, that we are being watched. Yes. They will come. Look at the kind of data they've exposed. Amnesty International, if another person has said it, they will turn it into a tribal thing. In Igbo man say the Yoruba say the Hausa, people are
Chris,
listening.
our
But now,
time is
I don't know.
Our time is up. We have to leave it
Thank
here
you,
for
Chris.
now.
But
Thank you so
if
much.
police invited
El-Rufai and ADC.
we are waiting for the outcome.
Yes.
Because if police have been inviting politicians like this in Nigeria before now, who would have started getting somewhere? So let it not be
Police
what I
seem to be
think.
inviting a lot of them this period, you know. So let's see
But
how that
then
turns out.
let it not be what we are thinking. Please
Imagine
invite
the peace
everybody.
talk.
Please, it's free to invite people. You can invite people, but let it not be what we are thinking. We're only telling Nigerian police to watch it because the person, the person we are going out to the field to watch shouldn't be looking dusty and haggard.
Yeah.
So Nigerian police is also at the watch line.
All right,
All
thank
right.
you so much, Chris.
So God bless Nigeria and everybody who are listening and watch from every part of the world. But remember, the blessing is for those who
deserve to be blessed.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chris
Thank
Maduka.
you.
Thank you. All right, we have come to the end of our newspaper headlines and newspaper review this morning. Do stay with us because we're bringing you hot conversations.